What do you mean there's rumors of an emergency balance data slate? That's just another kill team rumor. There's no way someone would accidentally leak that. Anyway, wait, what do you mean check Warhammer community? Oh, yes. Greetings and welcome to a specially planned Warhammer 40,000 kill team video where I go over the emergency, August balance data slate. So I'll be reviewing the emergency balance data slate for kill team. But before we get into things, please remember to like and subscribe as well as comment. Let me know what you thought of this balance data slate. Did you love it as much as I do? And I'm not a playtester. And please remember to like and subscribe as well as comment. I've got a Discord you can check out in the episode description below, as well as an affiliate link at Element Games and a Patreon if you want to give me some more support. But let's get into it. So yeah, there has been an emergency balance data slate. Let's make it clear. It is an emergency balance data slate, right? Some people are trying to underplay it. It's just an early balance data slate. So the latest one was actually supposed to be due at the end of September because they come out every 3 months and they've been doing that precisely since they started. This is an emergency balance data slate due to the state of the game. Because, you know, not just me, lots of other people were saying it was a horrible meta too, and it looks like Games Workshop have acted. So I'll be going through all the changes for you, summarizing more, and then, you know, at the end, summarizing like where the meta stands and which kill teams have won and lost the most. But remember, you can find it on Warhammer Community, and I'll link it down in the episode description below. There is an article, so, you know, clearly states that Elliot, the lead games designer, who isn't me, despite what lots of people think, and let's get into it because it's really fun. So there is a nice article, but let's go through the balance data slate. So we'll scroll down. There's actually quite a lot of changes here. So let's start off with Pathfinders. So what we've seen here are some targeted changes for Into the Dark because a lot of teams don't do as well. So for Pathfinders, they've added the following to the K-On! Art of War ability. In addition, once in each of their activations, friendly Pathfinder operatives can perform a mission action or the pickup action for 1 less action point to a minimum of 0. This is really good, especially on Into the Dark, you know, where it's opening doors, but it's good for like loot and secure as well, so that's pretty nice. And then for close quarters, each time a friendly Pathfinder operative can perform a guard action while it's conceal order. If it does, interrupts as normal, but instead of making a guard action, it can only perform the Markerlight action if it can. So you've got some kind of interesting change. So you can just get around the problem of not being able to see people by just like Markerlighting people constantly, which is kind of nice. So they do want you to basically play K-On! So once per turn, like once per game during, you know, your strategy phases, you activate K-On! And then basically everyone can move, open a door and shoot, which isn't bad. Like, it's a lot more helpful, but Montcar is still better. That free dash action is far more useful because you still have 12 bodies, right? And you do have a comms, so you actually do have ways around opening doors. Doors wasn't the problem, it's the fact that it was the like, you know, close quarters fighting. The change to guard is pretty interesting, but I think this is probably the best buff they could have done without breaking the team. I was expecting them to maybe buff some of the other unused drones, but I think this is okay. We'll see what will happen. The only downside is this has happened at the end of the Into the Dark season, so it's kind of like a bit moot, right? There's a new season coming in like 1 to 2 months, so kind of too late. Like, right amount of changes, just too late, right? Next, we have the Warpcoven. They've deleted the Sorcerer Operative's Rubric Command ability. Rubric Marine operatives gain the following ability, Sorcerer's Command. Each time this operative is activated, if it is within red of a friendly sorcerer operative, if it isn't, within red of a friendly sorcerer, subtract 1 from its APL. So they start at 3, and if they're not within red of a sorcerer, they're -2. Or they go down to 2, so it basically means you don't need 1 sorcerer per rubric. You just need your rubrics near sorcerers, which is much better. Then you change the battle honor for rubrics, which is, you know, just for campaign play, narrative play. So that's not bad. And then the biggest change, archetypes, you can now just pick recon or security. You don't need the specific amount of Zangors or rubrics. I think this is a really good change because basically now you'll always be picking recon. So it's actually quite threatening with the rubrics. The only issue is they're still limited to moving red during their activation, but these are some good changes. I still think they just need an extra operative, like so either an extra rubric or 2 extra Zangors. But this is a good change, right? So maybe this is all they need. So for Gellerpox infected, the main change is Rust Emanations. So this now only triggers while within engagement ranges of Infernally Nightmare Hulks only. So not the mutants or the glitchlings. So this is kind of huge. I mean, and it also doesn't work within white anymore. So they have to be in combat. So that's probably a better change than my idea for CP 1+. But it's interesting. I think it's good, but it actually might mean this team falls apart in combat. But we'll see. I think it's an interesting change and actually might be really good. So we'll see how this plays out for the future. So now we actually do have a change for the Exaction squad, which is a slight nerf, oddly. So add the following to Ruthless Efficiency. Each time a friendly operative with this ability makes a shooting attack with a weapon that doesn't have the blast special rule or the word grenade in its name, if the target is within white of another friendly Exaction squad operative, that ranged weapon has the P1 critical roll for that shooting attack. So what does this mean? A lot of people were confused by this. It basically means you don't have piercing frag grenades. I didn't even realize you could do piercing frag grenades because it's 2 free, piercing 1, right? So it's really weird. They shut this down and didn't think to buff anything else in the kill team because this kill team still needs a lot of buffs. And it's just weird, right? Even getting a piercing frag grenade, because it would have had to hit your own guy, right? Because if your guy is within white of an enemy operative, they're getting hit by the frag grenade too. It's just a really weird thing they wanted to like, just no blast buffs. It's like, we can't have piercing frag grenades. It's too strong. So now we have the Hearthkyn Salvager. Anyway, everyone gets +1 wounds. We kind of all saw that coming, right? The Field Medic, his Plasma Knife gains the lethal 5-up special rule, which is good. Plasma Knife is now 2 equipment point, changes attack characteristic to 4, and they gain the lethal 5-up special rule. So now you have to fear those stunties with those knives. That's actually quite terrifying. And then change the Thane Operative's Eye of the Ancestors ability to once in each strategy phase, when you would use a strategic ploy or past, you can select 1 enemy operative game with grudge token or 2 operatives you have 3 or more friendly Hearthkyn Salvager operatives that are incapacitated. So these are some nice changes overall. So instead, because you don't really have great melee operatives, you can now just basically sub in knives, which is good. And you get more ways to dump out grudge token, which is nice. But the main thing is the +1 wounds. So everyone's 8 wounds and a 3-up save. Your leader was 9 wounds. Really, really good. But we'll see how it goes forward. Really good changes for the Hearthkyn Salvagers. This is on top of them all being +black to their movement. Then we've got Fellgor Ravager kill team changes. Or shall I say nerfs? So, incapacitating a Fellgor Ravager operative with a frenzy token. Add the following bullet point. Critical damage is inflicted on it in a shooting attack. And then for the second bullet point, while a Fellgor Ravager operative has a frenzy token, it's ignored for the purposes of determining controls of objective markers. Wonder who highlighted that. Anyway, so what this basically means is some genius thought maybe frenzied operatives should die to crit shooting, right? And they've implemented that. The only issue is, I think they have unintentionally picked the worst wording possible, because instead of saying like a critical strike, like a critical hit, it's critical damage, right? So the gong will treat all critical damage as normal damage. So that basically means you have to kill the gong. But then other people are arguing, because it doesn't say attack dice are discarded, you can kill someone if you kill them in a shooting attack and that shooting attack has a crit. Because you can resolve the normal damage, then resolve the crit last, and they'll technically die. Obviously, the intention is that it has to be while they're frenzied, but it's just weird, right? It's just weird. I think these changes are overall good. You're probably gonna have to be rules as intended. So we might probably see like an emergency FAQ to fix this bullet point, the first bullet point. But this is really good. This is what this kill team needed. I know people are upset, but having a kill team that effectively has operatives that can't die to shooting until they've activated is bizarre, right? In terms of like a kill team wide thing, like you can have a frenzied Fellgor operative sitting on a point just going like, I am the best, like just tanking las cannons and plasma shots to the face. This is a lot better. And the fact they can't control objectives while frenzied really stops them being unintentionally great at capturing objectives. So these are amazing changes. Next, we have Chaos Cult changes. So for the Icon Arc, basically both of its abilities, so it's either giving -1 damage to everyone within 2 white, or +1 damage to enemy operatives that are like damage taken that are within 2 white is an action point to use. Isn't bad. I think I would have preferred it just only affecting devotees, but you know, still good because he'll just move up and do one of them, probably the -1 damage. Mutants and Torments, their DPRs have gone from a 5 to a 6 up. Thank you, Games Workshop. Thank you so much. Oh, I thought it would just be for the mutants, but the fact it's on the Torments is so good. I hate DPRs, damage prevention rolls, but this is good. And then the Sickening Aura strategic ploy doesn't work with Dark Commune, so it only affects mutants and torments, because before you could just, if you charged the Dark Commune, or they just YOLO charged into you and passed, you were -1 to hit. So that is a good change. And then mutants, operatives, blasphemous appendages change the rules from ceaseless instead of relentless. So that's actually another thing. It was like, I think the 6-up DPR was enough, but mutants getting ceaseless instead of relentless is a nice change as well. The worrying thing is devotees can still just slap you and mutate. They really should have just made them devotees have to kill, especially like how you can set that up with an Icon Arc. It's still very doable. So while the kill team has been hurt a lot, there's still 15 operatives. They still mutate really quickly. So I think they've gone down. They're still like a really strong team. I think they're still S to A tier, but they're not the best kill team in the game at the moment, right? Still very, very strong. And as I said, I would just like devotees have to kill to mutate. And I think that's probably it. Then for Inquisitorial agents, operative selection, including ancillary support, you can only select up to 2 operatives equipped with weapons that have the AP2 special rule, even if only in one of their profiles. Basically, sucks to be Veteran Guardsman for the ancillary support because you can't select the Demo Mine, you can't select the Plasma, and you can't select the Melter because you're locked into, if you take the Plasma Cannon, and also, well, Plasma Cannon or Multi-Metal and the Gun Servitor and the Pistolier, that's all your AP2 done, right? So kind of Vet Guard have lost all their value, so you're probably just going, even Kazakin to an extent because of the mines, so you're probably just going Imperial Navy Breaches and maybe Exaction Squad, and you know, a bunch of sisters. So you've got that. The Interrogator and Tome Skull have changed to a GA2, and they fulfill each other's group activation requirements. This is a good change. So this basically brings down the kill team to 12 to 11 activations, which is really, really good. Them having 13 activations was way too strong. It was problematic with Pathfinders. This is a really nice change. So excellent marks there. Absolute Authority cannot be used to stop the same tactical ploy more than once per battle, or applied that has no CP to spend on. So if it costs 0 CP. This is still really, really good and too good. It should have just been once per game, because Absolute Authority shouldn't exist and it should only be once per game. Because the main problem, Hand of the Archon, turning point 1, they either stop Fleet of Foot so you can't actually reach objectives, or they stop Denizens of the Dark so they can shoot into your drop zone, and then the next turning point they turn off your crits. Phobos, they will turn off Vanguard, turning point 1, turning point 2, they turn off your Bolter Drill. It's still too strong for what it does. There's other teams where it can just do, it does the thing of just stopping you from doing what you want turning point 1 and then stopping your aggro turning point 2. It should just be once per game. This is probably fine, but this ploy shouldn't exist, right? But I like these changes overall. I think that's pretty much it. You know, that's all the changes covered. So, wow, what can we say, right? So yeah, this was an emergency nerf. It hit Chaos Cult, Inquisition, and the Fellgor Ravager kill teams, basically. But also did buffs to Hearthkyn Salvagers, who did need those buffs, right? They are actually a very playable kill team now. And we also got some more rubric changes, because eventually something will stick. We did get a weird not, it's technically a nerf. It's a slight downgrade to Gellerpox. Harlequin's just immune to everything. And yeah, nothing for commandos. I think commandos was kind of the big obvious thing that they kind of missed, but I think this was written last month or something. But overall, very good. They did go with a lot of my suggestions, but I'm not affiliated with the company in that way. So good and bad for me to see, but really good changes. I think the meta's in a very healthy spot, and I'm really happy to see this, right? I'm really reinvigorated to play the game. I've seen so many people now like just gone like, oh, I was going to refund my tickets to events. Now I can't wait to play. I'm actually going to look for more events to play in and start playing more. Like there were a lot of people just like, can't be bothered. I'll just wait until October. This is what we need to see, right? The only big question for me, does this mean we're not going to get a balanced data slate in September? So we're going to have to wait till technically either 3 months from now or when the next balanced data slate would drop, which would be December, right? So it's weird. Like that's why I found it funny people weren't saying like this is an emergency balanced data slate, because it's an emergency nerf. And yeah, it's really good to see, really happy with what they've done. It's not me who did it, but it's really good, right? We even got some nice buffs. I think the only things we're missing is like Exaction squad. They just need like manacles to be 1 equipment point and kind of work on anyone with 8 wounds or less. And their sniper just needs to hit on 2s. And then the bands either just need to be 2 free damage, or my more favorite thing is 2/2 4-up, lethal 4-up with stun. Just some nice baton things, and maybe make the non-parry on shields +1 to hit. Otherwise, we're in a really good meta again. This is the meta we should have had, right? And I'm really excited. So the only thing is, yeah, is it going to last like 3 months? Or is it going to last 5 months? Or is it only going to last a month? Like 6 weeks, 7 weeks? So it's really interesting to see. But once again, props goes to Games Workshop. This is what we want to see. It shows they really care about the competitive nature of the game. You know, we have so many golden ticket events coming up in the like next 7 weeks that they've clearly gone like, yeah, this is not going to fly. So hopefully it means TOs go back to designing non-suicidal boards. We get actually to see the game properly. It's going to be so much fun, and I can't wait. So yeah, now I need to figure out what to play. I think like big winners, Commandos, right? Chaos Cults are still good, but I think they like hover in between A and S tier. Inquisition are still A tier for me. Like they're not in the S tier, they're A tier. Fellgors feel like they're A to B. I think they're still quite strong, but it depends. Or they're much better on Into the Dark, obviously. And yeah, I think that's breachers are like happier, but most breacher players are still going to be in Inquisition, so we'll see. But really happy to see. And I think elite players are also a lot happier, right? Intercession still don't like playing into Inquisition, like, but Phobos are slightly better. But the issue is, as I said, turning point 1, Inquisition will just turn off Vanguard, and turning point 2 turn off Bolter Drill, so he's still in a rough situation. Hierotech are a lot better. They now can actually reanimate against Hierotech Circle, against Inquisition, so we're probably going to see more Hierotech, so winners there. So we might actually see elites bring back some balance to the game and punch up commandos, so we'll see. I'm really excited. So, and you know, it conveniently matches up for my video for today. But that's pretty much it from me. Please remember to like and subscribe as well as comment. Let me know what you thought of this balanced data slate. Did you like it? Love it? You know, let me know. And remember, I've got a Discord you can check out in the episode description below, and a affiliate link at Element Games, and a Patreon if you want to give me some more support. And I'll quickly shout out my patrons. So for my Adepts of the Crit, I have Sam, Nick, Mr. Meatwad, John Thomas, Dad of Goldens, Ben, and then for my Veterans of the Crit, I have Samja. So thank you so much for all your support. It really means a lot to me and helps support the channel. But yes, my amazing foresight means now my Wednesday video is covered. But I do have some more interesting videos coming up. Like if you're part of my patrons, you'll know what's going to come. I've made some snazzy things that people voted for, so hyped for that. And I'll probably be doing some more guides now. I don't think it's worth doing a tier list, because normally I do a tier list after a balanced data slate. But the thing is, if we're going to get one in September, it would kind of make it moot. So we're going to have to see what sticks, right? So we'll see. but I'm really hyped. I can't wait. I've already been playing a lot of Kill Team because I've been practicing for events, but I am so happy to play. I can't wait. I'm ecstatic. I am going to play so much Kill Team, and I hope you guys are too. But remember, no matter what happens with the Balance Dataslate, I'm not a playtester. I'm not. And keep rolling crits.